welcome to O2 Inside Line Live. We're coming to you live from Franklin's Gardens in Northampton as the Red Roses prepare to take on the Black Ferns for the second time in 2 weeks. I'm Eleanor Roper and I'm joined by two England greats. Katy and James, thank you both for joining us. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
You enjoying the music?
I am loving the music. I've got a bit of a dance going to me. I keep forgetting that we're actually live. Are we live? I don't believe you. No,
we are. We'll start by talking about last week because a massive win for England over New Zealand. What did you make of their performance?
Yeah, it was huge, wasn't it? When you talk about games that you want to win, England, New Zealand doesn't get any bigger. And for those guys to kind of put that marker out there, it was absolutely huge. Great performance, really dominated across the board.
So good to have the fans back as well.
Yeah, didn't they?
Can they do it again, James? That's the question.
100%. Look, they're very well disciplined, very well drilled. You know, they're going to capitalise as long as they keep their heads and emotionally get their balance right. They've got a new captain we're going to talk about later in Poppy Kill, who will absolutely deliver.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough ask, New Zealand 2 weeks in a row.
It is, but it's what you want, isn't it? You know, you go out and you put a performance like that out last week, and now this is a perfect opportunity to come back and back it up, and that's where great teams are made. So England will want to send another message today.
Yeah, we're excited. The place is filling up. Now, we've been hearing from Sarah Bern. She's been chatting to us about what's been going on in camp this week. Sarah, thank you so much for chatting to us. Coming off the back of a massive win last weekend, how are you reflecting on that now?
I think we were all ecstatic with that win. It's always really hard to get a win over New Zealand, especially, you know, in front of a massive crowd after COVID and all that kind of stuff. But I think we're really looking forward to this week, and we can't take anything for granted. Like, we are not entitled to anything, so we've got to go out there today and give it another really good shot.
From obviously our point of view, we know a lot about the rugby. How have you guys just been able to kind of switch off and just kind of put that to bed in the build-up to this one?
I think everyone obviously was really happy with the game. We all watched it together in the team room actually after. We reflected on it. And actually, we just switched off. We just carried on doing our own thing. You know, people going out, getting takeaway coffee, playing games in the clubhouse, team room, and just I think we've just really enjoyed just spending time together. We actually had a bit of a party balloon trick night, which I was not very good at. But
what's your trick?
Ash was amazing. I don't know. Ash was pulling out swords, dogs.
Yeah, I saw
monkeys.
donkeys and
yeah. We didn't know our physio could do that, so you know, that's a hidden talent.
Who knew?
Well, she was pulling out sword. What? Explain that to me. What do you mean? Like, we're doing magic tricks?
We had to make something out of the party balloons.
Oh yeah.
And our physio smashed it at the park. She's just bringing up these things she's made. We're like, where's this come from?
We might have to get some balloons in for the full-time show.
What can you make in 30 seconds?
I am not the person.
Yeah,
Do you know what? Poppy was actually pretty good.
Obviously.
Yeah, Poppy was
We
pretty
want to
good.
ask you about Poppy because she captains the side this week. How do you think that's going to be for her and for everyone else?
I think it's going to be really good. I think it's a very different take to how Sarah Hunter would normally captain. Poppy is more lead by example on the pitch, and she doesn't say that many words. But you know, she's been playing so well, and there's nothing really else she can do other than just do exactly what she does every week and put in a good performance.
We were wondering whether she was going to be someone who shouts in the dressing room. Like, how does she get everyone up for the game? And
Poppy actually a very good delegator, so you know that goes around the leadership group, and we have the same people week in, week out. We have the same similar messages, and everyone really takes their role seriously. But Poppy's there for when we're on the pitch, and we've got to step up, and that's when Poppy's there to give us a big kick up the bum sometimes.
I'm really interested. Obviously, emotionally, last week there was a bit of unknown about New Zealand. They hadn't played together for a little while. You girls also been performing incredibly well. What's the emotion like at the moment in the camp? Is there a bit of tiredness because you put your bodies on the line so much, or are you pumped up? Have the coaches managed you well this week?
I think everyone's pumped. I don't think there was any tiredness, to be honest. I mean, there was definitely some sore bodies. It's a rugby game, but everyone's pumped for this week. Everyone just wants to put in another good performance, and actually, no matter what the score is, we just want to play better than we did last week. And there's definitely areas we can improve on, and that's what we're going to look to do today.
I'm actually interested because when we were doing the analysis on the game, we looked at how good the set piece was from England. What is the one area that you've been given to work on this week against the Black Ferns that you don't think was up to scratch last week?
Well, we really used tempo against them, which killed them a little bit in terms of our line-out attack. But we want to score some more mauling tries. You know, we want to be a threat. We want to be seen as a threat. So I think scrum and mauls is where we've been putting.
That's a classic prop line.
Yeah.
We're going to get more maul tries.
More
Nobody in the
mauls.
history of the world wants more maul tries, apart from the front row. But I love the fact
Sarah
that you're
Bern
into
will.
it. I reckon you probably put that in as your work on.
Yeah, that was just me. I was
Girls, I've got a word for the coach. We need to do more set piece, more mauls and scrums.
well, we wish you the best of luck. We're looking forward to it. It's already starting to fill up here at Northampton. Good luck.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good luck. Well done.
Bye. Great to hear from Sarah there. Now we're going to take you through the team for this week, and there are a few changes from the side that played last week. Zoe Harrison, she stays put at 10 though, player of the match last week, so a big performance from her.
Yeah, I don't think Simon was ever going to move after that kind of performance. You know, talked about the kind of that 10 shirt and who's going to fill it, and actually Zoe put her hand firmly up last week. You know, she got Eleanor Roper's inside of her now as an inside centre who's more of a 10, but again we'll have a good distribution game, and I think probably the key one is Leanne starting at 9. That is going to be a fascinating battle between her and Kendra Coxidge.
We want to ask you a little bit about Poppy, because that is one change. She moves from 4 to 8, and she captains the side for the first time.
Yes, I mean, look, Poppy Cleal, to get the opportunity to captain your side, it's an incredible achievement. It's such a proud moment for her friends and family. She'll be unbelievably excited. But what I love about her, and she's played 8 a few times to Red Roses, she just delivers that incredible go forward. And, you know, she's going back to the old school and bringing out those number 8 pickups and scoring tries from it. You know, a lot of the kind of games moved away from it, but she's bringing it for a comeback to that. She's doing incredibly well. I could not be more excited to see her. And she's a bit of a talisman. We obviously, Sarah talked about kind of her captaincy and her kind of being a delegating well. But actually, what we need today is someone to lead from the front to back that up and show the rest of the girls, listen, I'm going over the top, follow me.
I mean, she's always had an enormous presence in this side. Is she an obvious choice for the captaincy?
I think it's a fascinating choice. I think you've got Abby Ward in there, who's probably got a little bit more experience. But like James said, if you're picking on form, you can't pick a better player. You know, Poppy's delivered. And I think the other thing for me is she will deliver in under pressure. That's what you'll get from Poppy Cleal. You get big games, big players, and she's certainly one of them.
And I think it's interesting as well with captaincy. A lot of the media and people believe it should always be kind of your best player, but actually you need somebody that will lead by example, but also utilise the players around them. That's real leadership. You don't need to have these Churchillian speeches. What you need is people just to support you, for you to deliver, and for the people in the right areas to make a decision. You know, you would have been in charge of so much when you were on the field, but we always think captains sort of, you know, have to do everything. They don't. They've just got to do their job well, speak at the right times, and allow other players to flourish.
Now, we have been joking that you haven't captained England,
Yeah.
but you
Thanks for reminding everyone at home. Thank you.
He
Yeah.
hasn't.
Yeah.
But you have played here in Northampton.
Yes.
What's this ground like? Because at Sandy Park last week, there was an amazing atmosphere and a lot of support for the Red Roses.
Yeah, the support was incredible. Sandy Park kind of set the benchmark. Now, I know how proud people are in Northampton. We talked to a couple earlier that had driven 5 hours with their young girls to come and watch the Red Roses. That's the kind of pull.
That's what it's all about.
It is. And we had, I think, over 2 million people watch globally the game last week. I believe Franklin Gardens can take Sandy Park and raise them today. Everyone's so passionate here. It's one of the best pitches in the Premiership. And what a way to attract people down to Midlands and develop women's rugby. The Black Ferns versus the Red Roses after a record-breaking win. I can't say it, sound like Jonathan Ross. Record-breaking. Whatever record it is being broken, we're excited to have them down here, and I think the fans will deliver.
How important, Katie, is it for you, do you think, to see the Red Roses getting around the country?
Yeah, it's absolutely huge, isn't it? You know, we've talked about World Cup next year in New Zealand, but for us, that 2025 bid is huge, and this is where we start to build now. It's not kind of in the year out, it's much broader, and, you know, to get the girls around here, for getting these young girls to have something to aspire to is huge, and it just keeps developing the crowd. And like James said, it's one to follow, isn't it, Sandy Park? And
also the brand of rugby that the Red Roses are playing in terms of their physicality. You know, the way they're applying themselves, the way they're playing is exciting. It doesn't happen by accident. You know, these women are becoming inspirations for so many because they're setting a standard. You know, the Black Ferns for such a long time have been at the top of the pile. I know we've won World Cups, but there's always that kind of mystique about them. To put them away like the girls did last week in the manner they did, playing some incredibly exciting rugby, is what's going to grow this game and put it on the pedestal it deserves to be.
Yeah, I've got to say, last week at Sandy Park, it was special to see, and so many girls up trying to meet the players.
It's been awkward, actually. I've been walking around and people go, can we get a photo? And I keep stepping in and going, yeah, no problem. They move me out of the way and get Katie straight in there. So I'm actually small time here today, which I'm very happy about. I am limping around out the way, scaring the kids probably.
Let's chat a little bit about how this game could differ from last week. We know that England did a bit of a number on New Zealand last weekend, but what do you think they need to work on going into this game?
I think from an England perspective, you know, they will want to try and deliver what they delivered last week. They're going to probably dominate set piece again. They're going to want the quick ball that they played off from. I think from a New Zealand perspective, though, we can't write them off. They will have been hurt off from that last week. I think we'll see a much improved set piece. I think, to be honest, we'll see a much more competitive game as well, because there's no way New Zealand are going to have that 2 weeks in a row.
Which we want to see. We want to see a competitive game.
We do, but Katie made such a good point, right? Do England do the same thing that led them to that victory? Do they stick with their guns and double down? Do they try and evolve their game a little bit? I would say, listen, we know what works. The set piece battle, you know, not playing a lot of rugby in our own half. you know, kicking out and actually just putting the pressure on New Zealand to exit. We've watched their line out here.
Yeah, I was going to mention the line out. That needed a bit of work.
It is. It does need a bit. But look, they'll be missing a few, getting a few overthrows here. You know, Abby Ward, that's her specialty. You know, in the England line out. So I believe that we should do the same thing. But it'll be interesting because New Zealand will have to adapt. You know, you might get caught napping once, you won't twice.
Yeah, okay, it's exciting. I mean, I would ask you for a prediction. I know you don't really want to give one, but you're optimistic they can do it again?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think you look at how good England were last week. They're going to go again this week. I think it'll be much closer, like we said, because I think New Zealand will deal with some of their set-piece issues. I don't think we'll have as much of a run as we did. But yeah, I think England again, no doubt.
I'm always nervous to give predictions because every time you do, you make me stand right next to the team that I'm about to criticise. I don't want to get hoiked over the barrier and filled in. So I'm going to say that I believe the Red Roses will win, but I won't give a score prediction because I'm awful and get it wrong.
Hopefully if that does happen, we'll still be streaming and everyone can watch.
I think that would get a few viewing figures, wouldn't it? But that's not an idea. Don't do that.
Well, okay, don't forget that we will be back at full time. We'll be joined by 3 of the Red Roses, so do come back and watch. And in the meantime, there's plenty more content available on the England Rugby social channels, including a podcast which is available from the England captain, Poppy Cleal. So do join us later.